Speaking of going from mainstream media across to independent media, what do you make of Tucker Carlson's move?
I thought it was great. I think he turned something that, could have been like career ending. I obviously don't know the details of what happened, but thinking that he was fired, he could have taken that as like, okay, I'm done. He has become more famous and more culturally relevant since. The amount of places that I see him now on social media, in real life, doing his tour, the amount of people that I see in random comment sections on social media where like fan edits are made of him, where it's like him talking about masculinity and family and all these guys in the comments being like, oh, I used to always hate him. I thought he was such a boomer and I can't get enough of him. Like
Tucker Carlson's leading the Hope Core movement.
Yeah, truly. His thing that he said with Charlie Kirk years ago, and it's ingrained in my mind. It's probably one of the reasons why I got married young, but he was like, get married too young, have more children than you can afford. That's how he starts that. And he did an interview recently and somebody asked him about that again and said, do you still stand by that? Do you think this is still something that people need to hear? And he just gave the most incredible answer about, freedom comes with responsibility and taking responsibility, becoming a father, becoming a husband. It changes you in ways that you cannot even describe. He was like, if you think you can't do it the moment that you have a child, no, it's not that you can do it, it's you have to do it. And how empowering that is. And reading the comments of all of these men being like, I can't wait to be a dad. This is so true. I never thought I would relate to Tucker Carlson. It's great. It's crazy. And so I think it's great. I think that he was kind of stuck in a certain Fox News brand. So I think it's great.
Yeah, when you watch Fox now, sort of in comparison with the pivot that Tucker's made, it feels very slow and sort of pedestrian and lumbering. We both got a lot of friends that still do commentary for them, but it's just, I don't know, that old style of TV production for cultural commentary, political commentary and stuff like that. Just, I think is this what you think the future is going to be? Are we going to see more independent creators coming out of mainstream?
I think that's how it should be.
Mainstream media dead, in your opinion? Or dying? How quickly, how slowly?
Quickly, but I think now they've realized how it started to happen. And so they're kind of like playing catch up of, I need to, fix this. I need to do this better. We need to keep up with the times. But I think it happened faster than they could have expected. So I think they looked back and went, we are being left in the dust. So I think they're trying to adapt. But I do think that the future is independent creators. I think that it's people starting podcasts like yours and just getting on YouTube and saying, this is what I think, this is what I believe. Again, like I said, the women on TikTok who just have personal accounts, like 3,000 followers who just post their shopping hauls saying, I am done voting this way. Trump derangement syndrome is cringe. It's lame. Don't do that anymore. And they get millions of views. It's just people speaking from the heart, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, I wonder, I think a big part of it, we had Andrew Huberman's little foray with the mainstream media a couple of months ago.
They're so funny.
So many of those situations, I think, are ostensibly what it's supposed to be is something that's newsworthy, talking about an individual or what they're getting up to. But behind the scenes, what I think it is a slowly dying medium, death rattling and kind of grasping at, we're going to use the popularity of this side of the aisle to actually generate clicks on our side of the aisle. Yeah. And, you can have as much criticism as you want, and rightly so, about the lack of media standards. You're not beholden, and neither am I, to the same kind of publishing standards, maybe the fact-checking standards that you would have to be able to get onto a TV organization. But on the flip side, the TV organizations, the only way that they can get clicks for the most part now is talking about stuff that's happening independently. Yeah. Like when Don Lemon has decided to make the pivot. Yeah. Like that. He's the final horseman of the apocalypse. He's got to be. So.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Why did you not do this independently? Why do this with Daily Wire? You could have. You're the star of the show. It's I've seen your setup. It's how would you say? Lean. Complementarily, it's lean. Yeah. It's like it's not super extravagant. It's no more complex than it needs to be. Why didn't you do your thing on your own?
I was very out of my element. I didn't think I could. I think, and I don't know if I'll be confident. I think I could have figured it out. Obviously, I'm a smart person. I was very, very nervous. I've changed a lot in the last 2 years just on my confidence in speaking about culture and politics. I've gotten to understand social media a lot more. I really had no idea what I was getting into. I had just kind of jumped ship from Hollywood because I had moved from acting to, I want to go into production. I don't like that either. So I studied for the LSAT and I applied to law school and got into law school. And then the week of my orientation went, nope, this isn't for me. I'm not supposed to be an attorney. I don't want to do this. And then was literally working as a waitress and writing articles for Foundation for Economic Education and helping YAL with their Young Americans for Liberty, with their copywriting for their development team, their fundraising team. And I desperately wanted to be with a group of people that was moving the needle in meaningful ways. I didn't know how I wanted to do that. And so I had started a little Instagram. It had I think I'd racked it up to 5,000 followers. But every time I posted, I was still like, I still had that, I guess, like post-Hollywood syndrome of if I post this, my career is going to go away. My agents are going to, drop me. Nobody's ever going to hire me again. Even though I had decided I don't really think this is for me, I was still petrified. Didn't know what my future held. Had no idea if I would just go into writing and become some kind of journalist, if I would end up wanting to go to law school later on. Literally had no idea. Was working at this wine bar steakhouse in Boise, Idaho. And the social video team at Daily Wire saw one of my videos that I made for Young Americans for Liberty. And they liked me and DM'd me and said, we love what you're doing. You have a unique angle and a unique voice. And obviously, you are camera trained, you're media trained. We'd love to talk with you about producing a show. And I think a lot of people assume that, I came in and Daily Wire already had this like put together show. And they're like, here, we just needed to cast a girl to be the, young right wing girl to get all the guys. Like that's often a critique that I get. But I actually have a pilot that I did independently that I wanted to shop around, but was kind of too scared to. And I talked to some other political organizations that pilot is comment section. It has the memes, it has the comments, it had what I wanted to communicate and articulate. And so they had a similar idea, but we brought it together. We worked on it and molded it for 3 months before we released the show. And that's what I needed. I felt like I needed that support system. They gave me the opportunity, the resources, the team, which is great. So I think that I could have done it independently. Emotionally and confidence-wise, I was not there yet. I was still absolutely terrified. And I had no idea what I was like. I don't know if this is going to work. For months at Daily Wire, I was like, I'm going to get fired. They're not going to like the show. This is going to be a success. And then it took off like a rocket. I was like, oh, okay. I guess that I've got something that's worth saying.
What do you think it was? Why do you think anyone cared?
I think it was a combination of a few things. I think that my generation, I think I filled a niche online on YouTube specifically that I knew that I wanted to fill, that I had experienced not having. So one thing that I've vocalized many times now is I'm not the Trump intern, rhino Republican, the girls in their, beautiful pencil skirts or their perfectly blown out hair. I'm also not like the badass huntresses that live in Montana and like live on their father's ranches and, are super MAGA and super awesome. And I'm obsessed with both of them. And I think that they both bring, really interesting, discourse and they're unique individuals and all of that. But I was just normal. I was like, I have these values and I have opinions that feel very counterculture and I'm not seeing that represented anywhere. Like, where's just the normal girl that thinks that all of this is insane? And it's as simple as that. I think that I filled that niche. I also think that I brought humor to a side of the internet and a political corner of the internet that often doesn't have a lot of humor. I try to approach things with levity and hope and positivity and obviously like strike hard when it's needed and drive a point home. But also it's like, if you're not laughing, you're crying. Like, you might as well look at the world and go, no, this is absurd. Let's actually laugh at this because this is so dumb. Like the fat beach day. You have to laugh at that. You have to. It's like, it would not be fun for me. And it's not fun for anybody to be like, they're ruining the world. This is so disgusting, whatever. You have to go, this is literally absurd. Like, why are they? And I also didn't see that anywhere. I watched, I listened to everybody at the Daily Wire, Matt specifically, and Michael I was obsessed with before I came to the Daily Wire. But it was very newsy and it was very serious. And their fathers, we need to, protect, this society. We need to change things. It was like, I want to have fun, which sounds so silly, but I wanted somebody to speak to me on my level and not make me feel like the world was going to end every 5 minutes, but truly be able to make fun of it. So I also think that's how it's continued to grow is because the humor and the positivity has reached people across the aisle who might not be right-wing, but have common sense and realize this is dumb.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Momentous. Trust really is everything when it comes to supplements. A lot of brands may say that they're top quality, but few can actually prove it, which is why I partnered with Momentous. They make the highest quality supplements on the planet, unparalleled with their testing, and I've fallen in love with their Whey Isolate protein powder. Each batch is exclusively sourced from EU dairy farmers whose cows are grass-fed and free of hormones and steroids and all of the other junk. And Momentous is unparalleled when it comes to rigorous third-party testing. So what you read on the label is what's in the product and absolutely nothing else. Plus, it's NSF and Informed Sports certified, meaning it is so highly tested that even Olympic athletes can use it. Best of all, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not sure, you can buy it completely risk-free, try it for 30 days, and if you do not like it, they will give you your money back. You can get up to a 20% discount site-wide by going to the link in the show notes below or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, you will love the full-length podcast with Brett, which is available right here. Go on. What are you waiting for?